Welcome to the Sold Too Early Sports Card Podcast, where the only grinding I do is in the video game Runescape. That's Kai. I'm not addicted. I can quit anytime. And this is episode 14 of the Sold Too Early Podcast. Kai, how the hell are you doing?
I'm doing good, man. It's kind of weird. Football is basically over besides playoffs, but I think we'll survive. You guys are in the playoffs.
Yes, the Giants somehow made the playoffs.
So how do you feel about that?
Dude, honestly, I my expectations were like 5-12, 6-11, and the fact that we are like the 5 seed? No, 5 or 6 seed.
Something like that.
Yeah,
Maybe
6, I mean,
probably.
It is what it is. Super happy. Did not expect it at all. Definitely gonna be watching the game super closely. But I'm gonna be a little distracted because it's show week. Dallas card shows this weekend. Flying in Friday morning at like 7 a.m. I get in at like 11 Eastern, so like 10 Central. And then I leave Sunday morning at like 6:30 in the morning. So it's like a quick trip for me.
So Dallas like one full day.
Basically one full day. But at that point, dude, I've kind of realized that the Sundays at these major shows is usually ass anyway. So would I rather like pay more to be there later? And maybe make 1 or 2 more like smaller deals, or like be home comfortable, hanging out, watching football, hanging out with a girlfriend, whatever I'm doing. It's kind of a no decision for me. Like it's such an easy choice now to kind of like skip the Sundays. I mean, flying home Saturday night would be ideal, but like in reality, it doesn't matter. And also, I got the fake Rolex on today because I'm trying to break it in a little bit. So if I ever need it for a show, anything besides the Soul Tory podcast, I'm breaking it in, so I can just hashtag like flex on the hose. But it is really funny. I'm super excited. First major show of the year. I know that you're heading to Atlanta actually in a couple weeks.
Yeah, your favorite show.
Yeah, I mean, listen, we don't have to get into that now. Let's call it a difference in personal opinions on the show. Not a fan of it, but that's fine. If you enjoy it, perfectly okay.
I don't know if I'll enjoy it, but it's my first show in a while, and it's a pretty close drive. That's the only reason I'm going. If I had to fly, I definitely would not go.
It's just expensive for a show that's, Anyway, not what I want to get into. What I do want to get into, though, is the disposition of grading per company. So Slapsocks put out a post yesterday at the time of recording. So today's Tuesday. This is coming out tomorrow on Wednesday. They put out a very interesting post. And what it was showing, and the information is maybe subjective here. I'm not sure how accurate it's going to be, but the data was.
I'll pull it up 1 sec.
Oh, good. I'll kind of preface this. So it was the grading submission data for PSA, SGC, CGS, and Beckett in 2022, and the results will shock you as BuzzFeed jumps in. It's something like PSA had 7.5 million cards graded and subbed in 2022, and the second closest competitor, SGC, was like under 1 million. It was something absolutely wild, where it just kind of shows that PSA is still the king. A lot of us talk shit about PSA. I'm definitely a shit poster about any grading company, but you can see how much interest people still have in spending with the king at PSA, and like you're better off putting your cards in there.
You may have to entertain for 1 second.
You're fine. What it really just shows, Kai's gone. Hey, what's up? It's David. The point is, PSA really just showing that they are the premier for everything grading. I'm not a fan of SGC at all. I think it has a place in the world for either common base cards or vintage. They did a promotion recently with 2022 Bowman Chrome, where it was like $9 per card. Hey, Kai, I'm just filling in everyone about the $9 SGC promotion. And I submitted cards to SGC for $9 because fuck it, why not? But I'm going to flip those cards immediately. I don't see any reason to have them in a slab, but for selling purposes, it's fine. CGS, I have never really heard of, and they were third on this list in terms of like numbers of cards graded this year. Or last year, I should say. And then Beckett's fucking falling apart. It is so wild to me how poor Beckett is performing in today's market. And I don't understand what's happening there.
Yes. Sorry for the technical interruption. I cannot get this pulled up. So
you good?
Unless you
You're
can.
right?
I can't get the screen shared. So unless you can, I don't know if we're gonna have the graphic.
It's quite all
Like,
right. Basically,
okay,
I described it to the listeners who are on Spotify, Apple Music, whatever else. Visually, guys, I wouldn't even worry about it. I mean, I can pull it up real quickly, Kai, if you want to
my
talk for a second.
my Google Chrome is not letting me share. So yeah, I do think. I mean, obviously BGS from the reports is like behind, but I did see. I forget who was saying it, but that the numbers possibly were not accurate.
There we go. I have it open.
Did you? Was it someone in our group chat that was saying the numbers possibly might have been a little off from Beckett?
I mean, of course, the numbers could be off.
But like by a good margin.
I mean, listen, it's once again, whether or not this is true or not, it does set the floor of here is where the king is. Here's PSA. Here's everything fucking else. You are so
Yeah,
far
basically.
behind. So to
Did
clarify
you
the
also
numbers
see?
go for
Did
it.
you see that the most graded card was it was like gaming cards too? It wasn't even sports cards.
I mean, that doesn't shock me though. Like the sports card market is so mature, quote unquote, compared to gaming and like other alternatives that it doesn't shock me that the fastest grower percentage wise or card volume wise would be something other than sports trading cards. It's been around for 125 years and grading's been around for like 30 years, 35 years. PSA's been around, so
Probably
it's
around
like
then,
a
yeah.
crazy number, which is actually kind of wild when you put into perspective that like for
Yeah.
85% of history, 80% of history of trading cards, no one fucking bothered to grade them because it didn't matter. But
Yeah.
it's funny that also on screen we actually have my comment, which was the top comment on this Slapstocks post talk about how PSA is the king. Beckett's good for thicker cards, which I stand by. SGC is good for vintage. Everything else is white noise. Please tell the 3 HGA fanboys or ISA fanboys to get off my nuts. I stand by what I said. I've not
The
heard
one
anyone talk
thing
about HGA in a while.
the one thing I will say though is I mean, what are your thoughts on CSG?
I don't have an opinion. I think it's fucking
Okay.
worthless. Like,
Well, see, I've never used it either, and I basically agree, but I have heard from people that have used it that is probably the most accurate when it comes to grading.
good. I'll put it into a CGS 9 and hope the PSA gives me a 10. Like, sorry, a
I've
dollar
heard.
cent wise, that's what I care about.
Well, see, yeah, exactly. I've seen people cracking the CSGs because they're more strict and sending them to PSA and making a lot of money.
That's so funny. I will also call it that people liked Tag. They talked about it for 2 weeks, and then I never heard about it again. And
Yep.
Arena Club, who sponsored an event at Yankee Stadium that a lot of
Yeah.
influencers went to. And I never heard about it again. I think they follow me on Instagram, so that's really funny. If you guys see
I don't
this,
even. What is that Arena Club thing? It's like a whole platform, isn't it? I don't even.
it's like a whole
really know.
platform from what I saw. This is not sponsored, by the way. I fucking do not like this product, so make sure that's clear. Arena Club seems to be a trading card platform that also does grading, but in their marketing, they've shown like Beckett's Labs and PSA's Labs and whatever else. So like, oops.
Yeah, I don't know. That's interesting.
It's a hard sell. Yeah.
Ironically, I've been doing a lot of grading, which kind of ties into this a little bit more so than even just like buying and trading down or flipping, whatever. I've just been kind of the slow grind of sending stuff off and waiting for it to come back. And
dude, honestly, I'm really having fun with trading cards these days. Online can be a little bit of a pain in the ass, but like that's just social media in general. But when I get into a show environment, like as I start to like prep, like mentally, physically, like getting the cards priced or just like getting into the mindset, it's really the most fun I've ever had it in this world.
Yeah,
like I couldn't ever do. Sorry, go for it.
No, I was just saying I agree.
Yeah. I mean, listen, there was a period where right before I moved out of my parents' house to where I currently live now, I did 3 shows back to back to back. It was Dallas, Chicago, and Atlanta. It was fucking awful. It was really fun, but it was probably the worst decision I've ever made my entire life for how much like stress and like mentally and physically like wearing out your body. And then you have to move on top of that, which is always a miserable time. So
I mean,
don't really recommend that one, but I did it.
I mean, not underrated, but under talked about part, like it kind of seems like stupid or like there's no way that's true. But like when you're at a show set up for a weekend and then you do it again the next weekend, like you're literally talking to people all day long.
Yeah, no, it sucks.
It's like you're just drained.
Yeah, listen, you do mentally and physically get worn out. Like that's part of why I don't push nearly as hard at shows. that I did in the past, partly because financially, thankfully, I've done well and I set up at shows. If I don't set up at your show, I'm not going to come. Like that's kind of what I've gotten to at this point because I don't really want to walk around and do all that shit. And I kind of have realized that trade nights do have benefits and I enjoy them. But the people who have like the real money in the shows who aren't set up, we know, or
Yeah.
98% of the time you know who they are, like they know you. There are definitely deals to be done at trade nights, and I enjoy them. But like, I'm gonna just push harder at the shows and then do some trade nights, or do something where like, I'm enjoying the city we're in. When we went to Atlanta last year, we went to the Hawks game with the Soul Tour
Yeah.
crew, and like we got a fucking suite. It was amazing. That alone made the show worth it. The show itself it is what it is, but like the experience outside of that was amazing. Dallas, I've gone to numerous Mavericks games. Chicago, I go to Bulls games and like just go hang out. Like it's fun. Like there is a work-life balance, quote unquote, where you can do the things. You don't have to just sit around with fucking dudes in a sweaty room making deals. Like, you can do other things,
Yeah.
and kind of balance it.
It does help a lot.
It does.
Especially if you're like on the edge of going or not, and there's something you find you can do.
Well, that's exactly it. That's why people in the Soul Tour Early Chat are trying to convince me to go, and yourself included. You're going, and that's one of your
People,
notes.
you mean me?
What'd you say?
I said people, but you just mean me.
No, Mikey also is trying to convince me to go. I think Lucas mentioned it too, but I mean, moving into the Atlanta show, you can talk about like how you're excited to go and all that stuff.
I mean, I don't know about the show itself. I mean, I'm sure it'll be fine. I'm just excited to actually go to a show again. It's been a long time for me. I haven't gone to once to the National, so
That's so crazy, though.
yeah, I know. It's just hard because a lot of them are in like the Northeast, and like I'd have to fly, and basically I'd have to leave like sometime Friday, and I'd have to be back sometime Sunday. So I get like one day basically. It's just not worth it for me.
I mean, it's a
I
balance,
can't.
if you're able to split a room
Yeah.
with someone or like sleep on someone's couch or whatever you got to do.
Well, it's not even that. It's just like the fact that like I would have to be back. Like I have class at 8 a.m. on Monday, so it's not like I
Oh
can
my
come back.
God, that's
It's not like I can come back like sometime Monday. I'd have to be back Sunday night.
dude, that's so brutal. Why'd you take an 8 a.m. on a Monday?
I have to. It's my last class to graduate.
Oh
It's
my
the only
God.
one
Well,
available.
this is your last semester then, right?
Yeah.
Thank God. What's your major again?
Sports management.
That makes so much sense, actually. Okay, fair enough. What a world, man.
Yeah.
So, did you watch any NFL this weekend?
I watched the Falcons game.
That's fair. I did not even bother watching any NFL this weekend because one, the Giants were in. It didn't matter. Like they were locked in their playoff spot.
Yeah.
The Eagle game, they're starting Davis Webb. Like the
Yeah, it
game
was
didn't
pretty.
matter to me, so I didn't even bother putting on Red Zone. I didn't care. Fantasy football is done. Shout out to my second place finish in one league and 8th in the Soul Too Early group. Unfortunately, we did not do well. Thanks, Russell Wilson. Thanks, Kirk Cousins. Congrats to the Jags, though. Trevor Lawrence actually really impressed. And dude, if you told me a year ago this is where the Jags would be after Urban Meyer's entire fucking situation,
real good.
Yeah, I will eat some crow. I thought he was fucked. I thought that Urban Meyer was so bad for him that they were not going to have any real path forward. And they went 9-8 regular season, their whole single playoff game.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, good for them. That's amazing. Also, shout out to Lovie Smith, Chicago hero. That's some real G shit what he did. For reference, for anyone who doesn't pay attention to sports or why you're listening to this podcast, but the point is, Texans were guaranteed basically the first overall spot with a loss. And it was 4th and 20 for the Texans against the Colts, and they somehow completed a pass with like 30 seconds left, 4th and 20, got the touchdown, and Lovie Smith went for 2. And they converted. Now he's been fired because he knew he was getting fired anyway. The Texans went from number 1 in the draft to now number 2. The Bears had number 1 spot, which was a team that Lovie Smith had coached in the past. So super fucking funny. I love that petty shit. Lovie Smith is a hero in my mind.
I agree. That's too funny. I can't believe he did that.
It makes me stupid.
Well, I can't. Yeah.
It's sometimes life is stranger than fiction. I really I couldn't believe it when I saw it, but it made me happy. I'm going to pull up right now a bracket for the playoffs, and I want to get your thoughts on like what you think is going to happen.
While you're doing that, did you watch one other game I did watch was the Packers-Lions game. That was an amazing game.
I mean, I wish the Lions made it. You know what? I love
I
Motor City Dan Campbell. It's really hard not to,
So do I.
especially listen to like Pat McAfee or like listen to Dan Campbell talk in general. The dude is so electric. I'm not a Lions fan, but I would run through a fucking wall for him.
Dude, I genuinely think the Lions would have made a run if they made the playoffs.
I listen. Jared Goff is very good. Like
The NFC is so weird too. Like no one. I mean, the Eagles are number one, but it's like no one's like that team. You know.
I mean, I would argue that the Eagles are that team, at least in the NFC. Or the 49ers. Like, listen, I might go out on a limb and say they're gonna make the Super Bowl. I'm not sure yet. But
I would agree with that.
Looking at these matchups, like just gun to your head, 2-word answer. Jags, Chargers. I think Chargers win.
Chargers.
Yeah. Ravens, Bengals. Lamar's hurt. Yeah.
Yeah.
Dolphins, Bills. Okay.
Bills.
Yeah.
Tua's hurt too, right?
What? Yeah, Bills, 100%.
Yeah. Okay.
Now this is gonna be interesting. Cowboys, Bucks.
Bucks.
Yeah, I agree with you actually. Giants, Vikings. It's gonna be Vikings.
That's gonna be a close one, I think.
I know
I'm
it's
gonna
gonna
go
be
Giants.
close. They just played a couple weeks ago, and it was a 61-yard field goal from Greg Joseph to knock the Giants.
I'm going Giants.
I'm gonna go Vikings. Like I'm just gonna call it what it is. I think they get the best of us, especially because they're home too. But Seahawks, 49ers. I got the 49ers.
Niners.
Yeah. So I mean, just off memory, Chiefs, Chargers, Chiefs. Yeah. Bengals, Bills. I mean, that's going to be a really interesting game now.
Whoa,
like
that's
obviously
so
with the entire situation with Hamlin, like
I'm going Bengals.
I'm going to go Bills. I think they are the team of destiny.
I mean, that's fair. I mean, it's going to be a really good game.
Bucks, Eagles.
Now, are we doing this correctly?
Yeah, no, we are because we both said Bucks were going.
No, I know, but it doesn't necessarily just go like.
Just for this thought experiment, it doesn't matter.
Okay,
like we're trying to have
keep going.
Yeah,
keep going.
I think Bucks. I think the Bucks actually win against the Eagles. I'm going to call it now. I'm going to change up a little bit.
I'm going Bucks Eagles too, or Bucks over Eagles.
Wow, I didn't expect us to agree so much. You said Giants, I said Vikings, so I'll go with Vikings. Vikings 49ers or Giants 49ers? Do you think it matters?
I mean, I'm going Niners either way. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So it doesn't matter there. Who do you think is the Super Bowl matchup with that in mind now?
So, I mean, Chiefs against Bengals. I'm going Bengals.
I'm going Bills. I think the Bills make the Super Bowl. And then we have Bucks 49ers, basically.
I'm going Niners.
I'm going Niners as well. So you and I have one key difference, roughly, and this could change, I believe. I'm not exactly sure how the formatting would work. The point is, we seem to think it's either going to be Chiefs or Bengals or Bills versus the 49ers. We really seem to be kind of like in that thought pattern. And I think it's a pretty sensible idea.
Yeah, I agree. I really do think the Niners can win the Super Bowl this year.
Oh, they absolutely can, and probably have the best shot. I know they're number 2 seed, but they are the most talented team in the NFL right now, at least on the NFC side. Like you can make an argument for the Chiefs or the Bills, but like I don't think you can really make a good conversation that the Eagles are more talented than the Niners, especially aren't coached better too. Like
I agree.
Just crazy. What a world, man.
So, I mean, building off of this, why don't we talk about who we think are the top 5 quarterbacks from this season going into next season, like overall?
Yeah, this was tough. Before the episode, Kai and I spent like 5-10 minutes just looking at this. Fuck it, this is difficult, man. Do you want to start or should I?
You can go first.
All right,
who are your top 5 quarterbacks?
My top 5 quarterbacks at the end of the season, regular season wise, and into next season, playoffs don't matter at this point in time. Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, Jalen Hurts, Justin Herbert.
Interesting. We have some similarities. My top 5 goes Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow, Josh Allen, Justin Herbert, and then I got Trevor Lawrence at 5.
So if we're talking trading card wise, I actually don't hate your list. I would actually go closer to your list than mine. But if we're talking about like actual on the field level, I think you have Trevor Lawrence too high. I would have him like closer to like 10.
Wow.
Yeah, I
10?
mean, just like I think you're overhyping him a little bit, and that's good card wise. You're feeding into the cycle of like buying into the Lawrence hype and then fucking selling it, because if they take a step back next year and they go like 4-13, which is entirely possible, because we've seen one trash season out of him and one great season out of Trevor Lawrence, then he's an enigma. We don't know. Theoretically, he should be better because of Calvin Ridley, another Christian Kirk, ETN, all these guys. He should be better, but it's entirely possible that he isn't because he's just not who we think he is. So this is a good time to, buy him if his prices weren't super inflated, and then sell in August when, the hype is truly there, or he goes out week 1 and throws 2 touchdowns and they win on like a thriller and you just fucking sell immediately.
So I'm guessing if I were to ask you Jalen Hurts or Trevor Lawrence overall, both performance and like investing in their cards, I'm guessing which way you would go Hurts?
I would lean closer to Lawrence for right now. I think Jalen Hurts is a great quarterback to have right now to sell if you didn't sell him because he was an MVP candidate and all the stuff. I don't know. I need to see a little bit more from him, and I'm not including the playoffs here because obviously we don't know what's going to happen in the playoffs. I need to see a little bit more. Like, is he truly the guy? Can he be a top 5 quarterback in this NFL? Not just with running the ball, but throwing. I think he can be, which is why I have him on my list number 4. But if we're starting to get that conversation about cards involved as well, that's where I'm like, all right, let's take a step back for a minute.
I don't know if the correct answer is that you need more from Hurts. I think the way to look at it is that you need to see what Lawrence does next year with Ridley, picks, money.
But I would
then
sell.
You can compare.
But I would sell him before that happened anyway.
Well, exactly, yeah.
Like it's neither option is wrong. I actually really love both our lists.
Yeah.
On the field wise, I think you have Lawrence too high. If we're adding cards to the equation, I think you have him appropriately ranked. But this is tough. This is a really tough answer. And also, like, once again, the changing of the guard has happened. No Tom Brady, no Aaron Rodgers. It's a generation of players who are all under the age of, I think the oldest person there is Mahomes, like 20.
Probably. I don't even think he's that old, is he? Might be like 27, maybe. But I mean, yeah. You know what was even harder than this, though, is when we did our top 5 players overall.
I'm just 27, you're right.
Quarterbacks.
Sorry, you're prefacing that, but yeah, Mahomes is 27.
Yes.
So yeah, top 5 players, non-quarterbacks, offense, defense. This is fucking difficult. Like, I had to look at like lists to make sure I didn't miss anyone like extremely bad, and I probably still missed someone super obvious. You can say this is in order. I don't think it is, but like whatever. And I'm kind of leaning towards more veterans than Kai is, but that's fine. So in some order, my top 5 players, non-quarterback wise: Justin Jefferson, Travis Kelce, Aaron Donald, Jalen Ramsey, Devontae Adams, with the next best player being Myles Garrett.
I mean, I don't necessarily like hate it, but
no, that's the point, and it's so
you
fucking difficult.
There's anyway. So many good players. Yeah. So my top 5 non-quarterbacks goes Justin Jefferson.
Yep.
Travis Kelce.
Yep.
Nick Bosa at 3.
I love the pick. I think it's a spicy, like, good pick though.
Yeah, I mean, he's leading the league in sacks. So Minka at 4, and then Chris Lindstrom, the number 1 rated offensive lineman in the league this year, at 5.
I mean, you're being a homer there, but that's fine. I generally lean more veteran heavy than you do, which we seem to have realized like through any ranking conversation. Yeah, I mean, listen, you can easily make the conversation. Nick Bosa should be in my list over Aaron Donald. I can't. It's the same conversation we had about Brady a couple weeks ago. Like, and then I changed my mind, but it's fucking so difficult, man. Even if you made this 10 or 15 players, it would still be difficult.
It's so hard because you're never gonna agree.
No, I'm shocked you and I agree on 2 players.
The top 2 too. I
know, well, vaguely top 2. I'm not sure. I mean, Justin Jefferson is the best player, not quarterback.
Kelsey's also just like so valuable. I mean, I know he's getting older, but it's like he's literally a receiver.
Yeah, I would also put McCaffrey somewhere on that list, maybe like 7 or 8.
Yeah,
It's
I
just
don't.
so tough.
I just don't think running backs like hold that
But
value. I
that's
mean,
exactly
obviously he's the
that's the
best one,
conversation,
but like,
exactly. Like,
yeah,
these are not hashtag investments and trading
yeah,
cards, but,
yeah.
these are some of the best players. Just crazy. Let's move through to some NBA talk. So I occasionally look at the checklist for products to launch. I'm not going to put it on screen because it's fucking depressing. Here's what you need to know. Nothing good is coming out anytime soon, at least for this upcoming draft class. Like, I looked at it. The next product for players in this draft class, Kai, tomorrow. What do you think comes out?
Oh, something comes out tomorrow.
Something comes out tomorrow, yes.
Oh God, I don't even. I wouldn't
Hoops
even know what to say.
basketball, baby, the most worthless
Are
fucking
you
product there is.
serious?
I swear to God.
Hoops is just. I thought that was like one of the first things to come out.
Dude,
I
once
guess it
again,
is, but still.
it's super sad. Like, it's really pathetic. And we could be a dead horse and talk about this all day. I don't understand. We're still at fucking 2021 products. Mosaic basketball comes out in 2 weeks. Are you fucking kidding me?
I cannot believe that.
It's
I
just
mean, I know we harp on this a lot, but like, it's like the truth. It's fucking crazy.
flawless basketball for last year, Kai, comes out in February.
Oh, like
February
wow.
15th, like Valentine's Day weekend, roughly, or the Super Bowl, whatever the exact dates match up. Flawless comes out. Are you fucking kidding
That's
me? This is
crazy.
so pathetic.
I mean, I don't even like. There's nothing to do about it at this
No,
point.
nothing. Just bitch and moan about it. That's what I'm doing.
Yeah,
And dude, I have paid so little attention to like the rookies in this year's draft class of like the current rookies who are playing right now because it doesn't fucking matter what I think because any decent product they're going to be in is not coming out for a year. I'll just look at their fucking stats or the highlight tape later if I really
yeah. It's gonna
care.
be priced out already for
Exactly.
the
It
good
doesn't
guys.
fucking
Yeah.
matter anymore, dude. The free mental space of like not having to care or like really be interested in that stuff unless you choose to be is amazing. It's just fucking crazy where we stand trading card
Yep.
wise.
It kind of
But
takes. I mean, not kind of, but I mean, the fact that you literally just can't invest that way anymore. That was like half the fun of like
it does take a lot of
cards.
fun out of it. It's true.
Yeah, because you can't hit on your guy. But yeah, continue.
I know. But moving through to actual basketball, not just trading card wise, trade deadline is starting to creep a little bit closer. There are some players I named that I would like to see traded. Number one, I put Kyrie Irving. I'm not serious, but I fucking hate Kyrie Irving. I still will no matter what. I think he's a piece of shit, but he shoot basketball well occasionally, so he stay. Cam Reddish, he has to be freed from the Knicks. Apparently, they're willing to trade him for 2 second-round picks. I don't think he's even worth that right now. He
I
hasn't
could see
done
the
anything.
Lakers swooping in for him. They've been rumors for years for him.
You know what? Yeah, they have to free him. I don't care where he goes. Just like get him the fuck. It just didn't work. I don't understand what happened, but like it just. I feel bad. It's so
He's
tragic.
got so much talent too. As a Hawks fan,
I
he's
knew
gonna
that
be
would make
good
you
one
happy
day.
when I put him on the list.
Yeah.
Bradley Beal, he's incredibly loyal, but it's been years of this. Like, I think eventually he does get traded.
I think
I
they're
don't
gonna
believe his
sell as
contract
well.
has. I don't think his contract has a no trade clause, but like either way,
I
he's
don't
not.
know. It might, but I'm sure he would agree if he wanted out. So I don't know.
Yeah, just wild. I have Laurie Markkinen and anyone on the Jazz who's a veteran. The Jazz have done amazing, but that's not the point. Fucking trade everyone and tank.
They're gonna sell too, yeah.
Yeah,
And
they
then I
have.
on the list, I had Jay Crowder. I mean, I think that's pretty straightforward. Everyone thought he's gonna be traded all season. He's not even playing. A contender can definitely use him. Like I feel like you go with the Bucks, maybe he'd be pretty good. They need some shooting. And then I had Pascal Siakam. I think a team takes a shot on him. Not really a shot. He's an all-star, all-NBA player, but the Raptors are kind of just stuck at like the play-in game level right now for the last season or two.
I mean,
So I think
Scotty Barnes
sending him.
regressed, right? That's the issue.
They're not going to trade Scotty, but I don't know if that's
Oh
necessarily
no,
the
they shouldn't trade Scotty
issue.
Barnes at all. But like,
I don't know
he's
if
not
that's the issue, but they're just not
part of the
performing to what they
solution
should
right
be.
now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I could see the Nets going after Pascal.
I don't know with what. Like, what would we trade for him?
I would argue Ben Simmons, maybe Claxton, and picks some cap filler like Joe
Yeah,
Harris, maybe.
I don't know off the top of my head like what that would look like. I'm pretty sure Ben makes more than Pascal anyway to start. So like,
It's probably pretty close. It would take a haul to get Pascal because I mean
yeah.
you can't just trade Ben for him straight up.
Oh
That's
no,
not
of
something
course.
you
Oh,
can do.
I'm
Yeah,
not suggesting that at all, but
yeah,
the Nets were looking super promising, and then Durant got hurt. I expect him to be out for a month, maybe a month and
yeah.
a half. Like they're saying 2 weeks right now. It was his hamstring, I believe he hurt. So
Something is like something. Yeah,
it's always something like lower body with him. You don't rush him back. You kind of coast a little bit. If you lose out on the 2 seed, 3 seed, whatever, you're at like 6 or 7, but he's fully healthy going into the playoffs. It doesn't fucking matter. Like coast a little bit, take it easy.
yeah. They've shot up the rankings too.
I know
The
because they
Eastern
won
Conference,
like
yeah.
14 in a row or something
So they can
stupid.
afford to have a week or two, a little
Yeah.
fucking cool off. But yeah,
Well, even if you sit him out for a month or you like manage his games again like you had to and he had his Achilles injury. If Durant plays 45 to 55 games in the regular season, it's fine if he's ready for
yeah.
playoff basketball.
Did you see he's having career highs in like everything right
Yeah,
now?
no shit. He was an MVP candidate.
Crazy.
Like
After injuries, torn Achilles, he's like 34 or something. It's crazy. He's doing that good.
it like this is just like the era that we are in basketball wise. Like players like LeBron before he started to break down at 38.
Yeah.
It's just so crazy. Like here are the last couple of seasons that Durant has played. This is all Nets, by the way. So he missed a year with Achilles at 31. At 32, he played 35 games. Last year he played 55 games, and this season he played 39 so far. In
Yep.
3 seasons as a net, he has played 129 games. That's it. Like regular
You
season,
can't really.
that's not a
You
lot.
can't count the first one though. I
Of
feel
course
like.
of course you can't. But the point I'm trying to make, and COVID too, if you really want to, actually that was the
Yeah.
COVID year.
Yeah.
The point is, like stars are really not playing as many regular season games. That's a
They're
conversation
not.
for
Curry misses so much time too now.
Curry. Yeah, isn't Curry still hurt?
He's hurt here. Yeah. He should be coming back soon, I think, though. Maybe even tonight. But still, he's missed probably half his games the last 2 or 3 years.
It's so
Not
crazy.
including playoffs.
And speaking of players who we thought were going to be doing great and have not, Kawhi, I was picking on him to be a trendy MVP candidate, and he's just
I
like,
think even Paul George has missed a lot of time.
Kawhi's played 18 games so far, and he's averaging like basic, not career lows, but he's like not playing well.
Not good. DeAndre Hunter shut him down the other night.
It's just so wild to me. Like we really, whether the NBA posted the less than 82 game season or not, you really might see kind of like in baseball too. Like how most star players are playing about like 140 games, maybe 142, 145. If you're a position player, like generally that seems to be the trend. You're gonna maybe see basketball players play 65 to 70. Like that just might be the norm. And the guys who play 82 will kind of be the outliers. Like it does happen, but the stars you really might see take rest days or
what's kind of nice
or whatever.
But I know they're obviously younger, so it seems pretty obvious. But I feel like the younger players like want to like play a lot. They don't do the injury management shit, even though.
But that's
younger,
the issue too, is that like they sometimes have to manage injuries. Dude, it would not shock, and I fucking hate Zion. It would not shock me if you have to like Kawhi Leonard treatment Zion at 22, 23 years old.
Yeah.
Like he just cannot physically stay on the court. And if you have to play him for 50 games, maybe 55 in a whole season moving forward, but he's healthy, it's fucking worth it. It's not worth it anymore where he misses 2 months here, a month there, 3 weeks here, and he's just like not building chemistry at all with his team. And I do not like Zion as a player. But that might be what you have to do at 23 years old. It's wild.
Yeah, I agree. Baseball time.
Speaking of injuries, this is a perfect segue into the MLB. Speaking of injuries and impacting money and performance, Carlos Correa, former former San Francisco Giant, former New York Met, is going back to the Twins on a 6-year, $200 million contract, 187, something wild. He went
technically not confirmed, but it's basically confirmed.
It's basically, dude, if he fucking fails the physical a third time.
What I saw is he passed the ankle thing that everyone's worried about or whatever, but now they're just like finalizing it. So I'm assuming this one's actually going to go through. but we'll see.
I would laugh so hard if he could not sign. I'm all for a little bit of anarchy, and you have to be happy as a Braves fan, right? Like Carlos Correa is not in your division at all after
that
expecting
lineup would have been very good. I don't know if we would have won a 6th year in a row if they have Correa, Lindor. Like that lineup's crazy with them.
It is. What I also have here is an MLB article of the top remaining MLB free agents. We'll go through it real quick, see, Kai, if there's anyone that you want for the Braves or myself for the Yankees. They're saying the best catcher right now is Gary Sanchez. I mean, I'm happy with our guy Trevino.
Yeah, we just got Sean Murphy too, so we're good.
First baseman is Yuli Gurriel. I don't think the Yankees can go and sign him like at all.
Yeah, we got Matt Olson. We're good.
Yeah, Josh Harrison is interesting.
He's a good bench player.
Yeah, that's exactly like we kind of have possibly a bench guy in Oswaldo Cabrera, IKF maybe. Like this is definitely
you guys have good depth.
He's a quality player.
Yeah,
like Jose Iglesias is interesting too. I mean, he doesn't fit the Yankees at this point in time, but can still certainly give you plus defense, and it is what it is. Like he's a player. You will not win a ring because of Jose Iglesias, but he will.
He's a good veteran too. I would like him in like the clubhouse.
He turns 33. That's crazy. I remember him coming up with the. He's either the Red Sox first or the Tigers, and then he got traded to the other one.
I want to say Tigers. I think I remember his cards.
That's so wild. Brian Anderson's kind of a weird
Man, he fell off. He used to be like
fall off.
He was like an all-rookie team or whatever his rookie year with the Marlins.
4th in NL Rookie of the Year, career best 20 home runs 2019, OPS plus career high of 116 in 2022. 2020.
He also plays a lot of positions too, so I'm surprised he's still unsigned.
Someone will get, dude. Watch like the A's go and get him, like someone who is like very frugal.
Oh, he's got A's written all over him. I could see Yankees getting him too, actually, because you guys love those DJ LeMahieu's who play like 5 positions.
True. I want Jurickson Profar, which is funny that way. This jersey right here, the Padres one, is Profar. It's from 7 games he played last year, including like the home opener. I love Profar. I think he's a great player. I would love him on the team.
I love Profar. I've always liked him.
Like it's really hard not to. Each 30 season, he does play a bunch of different positions. He can play everywhere except for pitcher and catcher. I would absolutely take a 1-year flyer on him.
Yep.
Oh, Double Herrera, LOL. No, I'm good.
Yeah.
And Adam Duvall.
Adam Duvall's underrated. Not even just as a Braves fan. He has some lingering issue with his hand though, but he was very good. Year. He was very good the year we won the World Series.
I mean, that could be like another A type or who else?
He's also a Gold Glove defender.
Who else can use some power on their team? I'm trying to think.
I mean, every team can, honestly.
I know, but like a guy who is.
I would love the Braves to go and sign him again, but they haven't at this point. I don't think they will, considering he was on our team last year. So
yeah, or you just go and get like Trey Mancini at that point too.
Mancini's very good too. I don't really know how he did last year on the Astros, but I'm assuming solid.
I don't think he actually. Hang on, I'll pull it up. I don't think he did much last year on the Astros. I think he got traded and just kind of hung out.
I could have. Didn't he start at first base most of the time?
He did, but look, 51 games, 8 home runs, a 176 batting average. Yeah, last year,
Ooh, that's not very good.
Yeah, not very good.
What did he do on the Orioles before he got traded?
10 home runs, 41 RBIs, 113 OPS plus. With the Astros, it was 75. I mean, 51 game sample size, but it wasn't the impact move they needed. But they won the World Series anyway, so it doesn't matter. But he might have to take a 1 year kind of reset the market deal. Bet on yourself. Yeah. Not the worst thing in the world, but you might get better offers in a year if you put up 35 home runs again before.
I could see him going to the Twins to replace Nelson Cruz.
That's not a bad idea either. I don't know. I'm really good. Baseball is my true passion for watching. I will watch so much baseball. Football I watch every Sunday. Basketball is give or take, but baseball is my jam. I will put on most baseball games, just put on as background noise. I love it. It makes me so happy. Michael Walker is still a free agent. Wow, he did super well last year, if I recall
He had
correctly.
a really, I think it was an outlier. I mean, he could be good again, but I would not expect him to be that good again.
Yeah, 11-2 with a 3.32 ERA. I mean, someone should still go sign him. Like, he definitely deserves to be
Yeah,
a fourth or fifth starter on a decent team.
agree.
Kind of crazy, man. I did not realize. I mean, there's still quality players here, but like, yeah, obviously no one who's gonna move the needle towards a ring. But you can still get value out of certain players. So
Yep.
we'll have to see what happens. I'm so excited for baseball to be right around the corner. Like
So
we're only what 6 weeks away from spring training. So
spring training, something like that. Yeah.
just makes me happy. Like I fucking hate the winter. So like having baseball on the horizon like gives me hope.
Same, because it's also any of my team's best chance at winning anything. So
True. I mean, you've seen the Braves win a World Series though, so you have, you have seen your team win. And even though I was a child when the Yankees won, like I saw them win in 2008, so I was 12. So that was cool. And Giants too. I've actually seen both my teams win. Nets, give or take, like nothing, but I don't really care as much about the Nets as I do the Yankees and Giants.
The Braves was the first championship any team I like has ever won. So
that's wild. Cool. What a world, man. All right, let's move through to some questions. Not really other topics, more of like general Q&A, other segments. I like the formatting we have, so this kind of just fits whatever. From Rob, the sports card therapist, who thankfully did join us a couple weeks ago. Really appreciated your time, Rob. Will the card market be up or down compared to now in 5 years? I really honestly think it's going to be gradually up. I think that economic factors are obviously going to be in play, and that's in general always going to be a thing. I would have really loved to see what the sports card market looked like during like the recession of like 2009 or 2008, that exact timing, because social media and like the world that we are connected to is so much different 15 years later, where we are like, we're truly connected no matter what, instantaneously through a phone and whatever else. So I think that people are panicking because they were not exposed to it in the same degree as they are now. And recessions truthfully are not the worst thing in the world. It's just like the cyclical cycle of an economy. It's a very normal thing. So things can't go up forever, but I do see a more gradual, intelligent market 5 years from now than one that's truly in fear and panic. But obviously there's factors that can either swipe it up significantly or swipe it down significantly. But good in my head, 5 years from now, I think we're in a much more positive light. Sports card.
I agree too. And I think it's not even, I mean, you can look at it as things like going up in like value, but I think cards will also just be more expensive because that's how the world works. Like things are going to be more expensive. Like the value of money is going to go down. So if you look at it and just like what cards are selling for, then yeah, obviously it'll be up. But the actual like transactional side of it, like people actually dealing and being active, I think it'll be up as well. Yeah.
Are you worried about people being priced out of the bottom of the market? Because Kyle, let's call it what it is.
Yes.
You and I are, if not in the 1% of the sports card trading market, we're very fucking close. Like,
yeah, that's like top
keep
5,
that in
top
mind.
10%.
What's that?
I would say we're like top 5% probably.
Way more, way higher. Lowest case, kind of think you and I are like top 1 to 2.5%. You got to think about it too. Like, I don't want to talk numbers on a podcast. That's not the idea. But I have said in the past, I've done 7 figures of business in my life. Thankfully, thank God. Like, that is fucking way more than 1 out of every 100 people. But like, we cannot get what's the right word? We have to make sure we understand the everyman. And I do think there is concern that the everyman can be priced out of cards, at least, especially on the low end side too. If you're 25 years from now, like the only product you can buy is fucking like score basketball or like draft picks, like collegiate.
I mean, score right now is what going to be like $200 a box.
It's ridiculous. Like
it used to be like a $70 box, I think.
Yeah, and if you look at retail, dude, I remember people getting shot for Prism basketball. Like that's not that long ago, and now it just sits on the shelves. Like no one's getting shot anymore as much.
I went to Target the other day and they had literally every product fully stocked. It's the first time I've ever seen that in like probably 3 years.
It's really it's a good thing in one way, but also really tragic in the other because it's all just trash. Retail used to actually be fun. I remember going Prism box hunting in like 2017, 2018 and going to like
Yep,
3 or 4 different
exactly.
targets. I wasn't following people around. I wasn't pulling out a gun to shoot them. I wasn't stabbing anyone. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. But I did go with my girlfriend or just in general if I was like in the area and go look at Target for 5 minutes. Like, oh hey, that's there. Oh hey, this is there. Like nice. Like it was fun. I I can't believe
Yep.
that I now I'm thinking that target hunting and going for prison boxes was fun, but that was like 5 years ago.
I
It was
mean, it
crazy.
was.
It was fun. I enjoyed
Yeah.
it, and that's 5 years ago.
Yeah, I can't
Yeah.
believe that's 5 years ago. That's
That
crazy.
Jason Tatum, Lonzo Ball rookie class, like you can
Yep.
still get cards in Target, and like,
Even Trey Young's year was last year, 2018, where it was kind of like that. Then it just went crazy.
dude, I remember buying Luca based prisons on the bus going to New York City for 10, $15 a pop.
Yep. I think
Like,
that was the turning point.
COVID was the turning point. Luca was the turning point. Ken Golden was the turning point. There's a lot of different like weird turning points of like this hobby. Good, bad, or otherwise, I wouldn't really change too much other than like the scumminess of like money that happens. But like once again, like that's inevitable. And you know, it is what it is. And it's super unfortunate in some ways, but also super freeing. Like, dude, I fucking travel the country every now and again for pictures of dudes on trading cards. And
With
okay, like
sweaty shirts inside of them.
oh yeah, that's what I live for, man. I just love to sit around in a convention center with dudes, a bunch of guys doing dude things. You know what I mean? So I don't take it too seriously. I can't. It just doesn't. It doesn't
Yeah,
work for me.
it's if you take it too seriously, it's not fun.
I know that's dude. I think the balance between like still having a 9 to 5 job and making more from trading cards than my job is what I want to live for forever. Like that's it. And honestly, this question from Max kind of leads into everything as well. It kind of fits this topic of like the state of the hobby. If repacks didn't exist, Kai, I'm not sure about you, but like, do you buy any repacks?
The only one I would ever buy was, do you know Dom, Juggernaut Dom?
Oh yeah, I love Dom.
Yeah, dude, I've known him for like the longest time. I would buy his Jugger boxes back in the day. I think they're
I
called
remember
something else
those.
now,
I
but
might have bought one
I
or
would
two.
buy those.
That's like 5 or 6 years ago at this point,
Yep.
or feels like it's 5 or 6 years ago. I like Dom a lot. Dom's a good guy. Central Valley made a good one for a while. I'm not sure if he still does it. Gareth is super nice. I believe it's Gareth. So super nice guy.
Yep.
Leighton does one too, but I mean, once again, I think we're a little spoiled there because we know Lane as a person, and like Lane is not going to fuck people over, and he builds the almanacs. So I would support Lane if and when they do another one, possibly in the future. You know, either way, you make a good product, we're gonna call it out. I have helped to not fund. I've given inventory to some repackers, either connected, ironically enough, through backyard breaks. There was a guy who bought off me a couple times. Prestige Pulls buys off me every now and again because I'm friends with one of their buyers. Like he and I are actually like cool. it's every time he DMs me, like it takes 5 minutes to make a deal happen because he's awesome. NPT cards, super nice guy. Like, yeah, it's funny when you actually try and build relationships with people, and then everyone benefits as a result. Like, oh wow, how terrible. Like, you know what I mean?
Well, I think the thing with repack buyers, or the people that run the repacks, the repack buyers, or whatever,
Yep.
but the thing with them is that it works better when you're selling them the cards because they can afford to pay maybe more than someone who's only buying at 70%. Maybe they pay
I buy
like
75%.
80,
Like
85.
that's what I do.
Well, my reasoning for that is because that they mark the boxes, probably let's say a $200 repack box, right? The most value you're going to get out of that's probably $150. So regardless, they're probably making $50 if they paid you full eBay for it. So
Yep.
by them paying at 80%, they're going to be making comfortable margins no matter what.
I mean, I would argue that the best repacks, if your box is $200 a box, your best box value should be $350 to $450, and
Well,
you're $50,
Yeah.
$75. Like you're obviously gonna have significant winners and losers.
Yeah. My point was like the
But
average would be around like 150.
your
Yeah.
dollar cost average is definitely closer to like 125 on those. I guarantee it. whether you're buying
Yeah.
base or trash or, occasionally the good chaser card, I guarantee the dollar cost average of your hypothetical $200 box is closer to like 125. Do I think people should go out and make their own repacks? Fucking absolutely not. Stop making them. The ones that have survived this long, truthfully, are good products. I might not buy into prestige pulls, but I can tell you I sell them good stuff, and they are doing very well for themselves. And I wish them the best. If Backyard or Layton or X, Y, and Z does a repack and they continue to sell it out and it's quality stuff, it'll continue to go. People who feel like they're getting fucking slighted are the scumbags on like Whatnot who put actual fucking trash into them, and people spend hundreds of dollars per box for garbage. I've seen people spend thousands of dollars and get like base cards. It's fucking hilarious how first off good marketing it is, and secondly how scummy it is.
One other thing I can say is that at the National every year, you do see the people like wanting to find like these repackers buying shit. So it's obviously working for both parties. Like everyone always wants to find the Leaf booth at the National because they always buy. They have like
Trash.
100K in cash on hand, and it's like they just buy basically whatever you have under like $500 that they need.
Yeah.
So
Listen,
there's definitely a need for it in the hobby.
It's not going anywhere. So like let's not even pretend like it is. It kind of leads to our next question too from Myers Cards of selling below eBay comps. It is what it is. It's a necessary evil at some points. Whether you have to lose money or break even or re-roll, like selling below eBay comps is the reality of the situation because you might need finances for either personal life stuff or more trading card stuff or X, Y, and Z. If you want that at this moment in time, you have to pay the fee, which in this instance is generally people paying between 70 and 80% of comps. I can tell you I pay 75% of comps. People try to hit me up very often. I don't have to put out buying posts anymore, or not nearly as much, because after 8 years of not being a scumbag and maybe having 4 or 5 deals that I truly was at fault at where like something went wrong, people trust me. And I built a good reputation. So people will text me like, hey man, I need to sell. Let's do some business. And I will occasionally buy. These days, I'm saving for other things, a vacation, a wedding ring, X, Y, and Z. Like, there's other priorities in my mind. So like I'm not spending as much. But I've built such a good reputation that I'm able to afford and spend and buy under eBay. And you have to accept that you're not going to get your full dollar value on your card unless you either find the guy who needs it at a show and like absolutely pay you top dollar, or you fucking trade it or do cash and trade, get more value. It's a numbers game. It truly is.
Yep. I don't really have anything to add. That was good.
Yeah. Dude, like this is something that I have constant conversations about this, like whether it's at shows or DMs or friends, like it's so crazy. It's okay to lose in this hobby. I traded for a fucking Giannis Prism rookie auto at 7K value from Woods Basketball Card Paradise. You might have fucked me up on the value, but like we're friends, so I got back at him on the deal originally, and it sold yesterday for 6K. Guess what I'll do? I'll fucking either sell or trade it at 65 to 7K in Dallas, or I'll put it on eBay and just wait. Like I don't have to sell it at 80% of comps. I'll just wait. Like someone will eventually trade me at 7K, $7,500 value, and I'll re-roll into something else and turn it over. Like it's not the end of the world, but you just have to make the best of it that you can and just continue to move things forward.
Yeah, I mean it's kind of a person to person case, I would say. I mean, like whatever end you're on, like you gotta kind of just do what you gotta do. Like you're gonna sell cards below and above comps. Like there's
all the time, dude. You saw that Chris Ball kaboom I sent in the group chat, right?
I did. Yep.
So for reference, I had a 2013 Excalibur Chris Paul kaboom, Pop 1 PSA 10. I had it priced at shows at $875. It sold on eBay this week for $1,200. It's Pop 1, so I set the market, but once again, you just never know.
Yep.
Yeah. It do be like that sometimes. All right, Kai, what's your last question? If you have $1,000 to spend, how would you work your way up?
I thought this was an interesting topic.
You answer first. I have to think about this for a second.
So I think how I would go about this would be to split this 1,000 into 2 sections, I would go the first 500, I would go after maybe $20 to $50 cards to grade and send off, and spend
Okay.
the other 500 on maybe $100 to $250 cards to flip my way up while I'm waiting for those graded cards to come back. I think that's how I'd kind of start it and go
It's a
about it.
pretty intelligent answer. Man, what would I do? So $1,000 to spend, and I'm me, so I can buy 75% comps. So generally speaking, I can probably get one card at 1250 value, give or take, because if my math skills are right, and they're usually not,
Yeah, somewhere.
Say-
Well, yeah, that sounds about right.
75% of 1250 is 937. Okay, so that's actually perfect. If I get a card for 1250, I can either try and sell it for 1100, 1150, and like actually get some bites, or trade it at 1250 or $1,300 value. Yeah, that's what I would do. I would find the first person who was quote unquote desperate enough to need cash that gives me the deal at 75% comps or even lower, which is very possible. That can happen in today's world.
Definitely.
Find that person, wait them out, get the card, sell it, trade it, cash or trade it, get $1,300 value, 1250 value, and then 1250 value cash wise or sell on eBay and get to 1175 after fees. Find something else I can buy at 75% comps.
Rinse and repeat.
Rinse and repeat, man. Spider
Yep.
out deals if I have to. Or if I
That's
do, if I have to
perfect.
trade down on that $1,000 item or $1,250 item and I get $13, $14 in value, I'll do it every single fucking time. I traded a Jason Tatum Emerald Rookie Auto I bought on PWCC for like $4,500, $5,500. I think it was like closer to 45. And I traded it for 50 cards at like 6K value, $6,500 value. I'll do it every single goddamn time. Like, it doesn't matter. You put it on eBay, you auction it. And if you lose on some of those items, you're going to win overall. And then you have your cash just one step removed.
Yep.
Like, it's just, that's the cycle. It's not that hard. You just have to truly be fearless. Could I get fucked on that deal for $4,500, $5K? Of course I can. I might get $3K, $4K net after myself, but I'm not afraid because I'll re-roll it into something else. And as long as I'm not financially like beholden to trading cards, I can still afford to eat and pay for things and do whatever. And I'm intelligent enough, I'll be fucking fine at the end of the day. I just have to win most of the time, not every time. So
I feel like another point to this question was kind of like I feel like a lot of people say you can kind of just go through like $5 bargain bins and work your way up from there.
I don't want to do that shit, dude.
Yeah, I think to be more realistic, you need probably 500 or 1,000 because you're gonna fuck up. Also, you're gonna lose money at the beginning when you're working your way up. So,
I lost
you need to have
so
some
much
sort of
money
cushion.
at the start of trading cards. I went into so many group breaks, so much stupid shit. You wouldn't believe it, man. I lost so much money on that stuff learning.
I think you need to have a little bit of a fluff to start with. I think 1,000 is like a very fair number to like be confident in like working in cards and not being
and
worried
also
about
make sure that
every purchase.
I'll change your statement slightly because $1,000 for people in today's economy can be hard. Even if it's $500, even if it's $250. Understand that it's okay to lose that money. You might fucking lose all $250, all $500, all $1,000. It won't go to zero unless you bought Mitchell Trubisky, which in that case, LOL, you goofed. But generally, you will be able to, even at the worst case, get $500 back, $600 back of that initial $1,000. And you can try again. You have to just be fucking fearless and understand that you might lose, but you probably will win if you do it intelligently. And understand that there are risks to this, but it's worth it in the end.
Totally agree.
It's kind of crazy. All right, I know you had a hard stop at 6. Is there anything else you want to talk through real quick, or are we good for today, my guy?
I'm good unless you got anything else.
I got nothing else. Thank you guys for watching. If you made it this far, that was the So Too Early Sports Card Podcast. That is Kai. I'm going to go play some RuneScape, I guess. Thank you guys for watching and listening. So, see you next week.
Yep. Thank you guys. See ya.
Peace.